Cult of the Lamb may be the first cult running simulator I played, but it's carrying on a proud video game tradition that I've seen in the medium for decades. Like The Witcher 3, Horizon Forbidden West, and Knights of the Old Republic before it, Cult of the Lamb has a distractingly good game within the game. This time around it's called Knucklebones, and I am determined to be the very best like no one ever was. Knucklebones is simple enough. It's the kind of game you can play in real life provided you have easy access to 18 six-sided dice. Each player plays on a 3x3 grid, which is divided into 3 columns. Each time you roll a die, you must place it into one of the columns. If you can line up 2 or 3 of the same number in a column, its worth multiplies exponentially. But if your opponent plays a die of the same numerical value in the equivalent column on their side of the board, he'll take out any matching ones on your side. This is annoying if you have one die with that number, but if you built out a column with 2 or 3, it's devastating to your score. And really at its core, this is kind of why Cult of the Lamb's dice game rules. Your Knucklebones teacher and first opponent is Rateo, an elderly former chosen vessel of the game's ancient evil god who has been sent to guide your lamb on their path. Basically, he's an old retired rat who lives in a lonely shack to the north of your village and will take any opportunity to play Knucklebones with you. Thankfully, given that cash can be difficult to come by in the early game, he also loves to bet on it. Money brought me to Rateo's shack for a few games early on, but as you get further into the game, the amount of scratch you earn by besting Rateo stops being significant. And more pressingly, your village exists in real time, so while you're away from it, cult life goes on. Without consistent reinforcement of your cult's supremacy, their zeal grows cold, and if it gets chilly enough, they'll desert. Or at least talk trash about your cult to their fellow members. In your absence, old members die and healthy members defecate on the grass, causing other members to get sick. In short, heavy is the head that wears the crown. So while the profit motive incentivizes me to play the game early on, the fun of it is what keeps me coming back in the face of domestic responsibilities. Side games often exert this kind of hold on me. In Stardew Valley, I found myself drawn time and time again to the Journey of the Prairie King, the cowboy twin-stick shooter found on an arcade machine in Star Drop Saloon. Even when a side game is simple, I find it a welcome respite from the main game. Gwent being popular enough with Witcher 3 players for CD Projekt Red to spin it off as a standalone game suggests I'm far from alone. Cult of the Lamb is a significantly deeper experience than the dice game it contains. With so much mechanical depth, I'm amazed it feels easy to pick up and play. That complexity may explain Knucklebones' allure. In the midst of the tangled web woven by anyone attempting to run a religion, I can find solitude in a lonely shack, kicking back and finding order in the simple process of arranging dice and columns with an old rat. Do you have a favorite minigame that was inside another game? Let us know in the comments what your favorite one was. And as always, head on over to thegamer.com to find lists, features, and more.